So in this video we will discuss regarding Python library which is Pandas. So Pandas is a very popular library which is used by data analysts on day-to-day basis. So let's begin with Python library which is Pandas. So Pandas is an open source Python library that is used for data manipulation and data analysis. So you can perform different data analysis with the use of Pandas library. It provides fast, flexible and easy to use data structures for working with structured data. So if we want to work with a structured data, for example, there are rows and columns in the particular data that is a structured data. So if we wanted to do some manipulation or we want to do some data analysis, exploratory data analysis, then definitely Pandas is extremely useful for that. So there are basically two types of structured data in Pandas. The first one is series, which is a one-dimensional array, we can say. It's just a one-dimensional data. And the second type is data frames. So data frames is basically the Excel data that you see which have rows and columns. It is a two-dimensional data. So data is having two dimensional. For example, the first dimension is row and the second one is column. So it is divided by two dimensions. So we will see the examples of both the things, series and data frames. So this is the example of series. So in order to create a series, we first of all have to import pandas as PD. Then in order to create a series, we have simply given a variable in which we have written pd.series. We have first of all written a rounded bracket and then a square bracket, and we have written 5 values. So this is the output. Then if we will print this variable, this is the output that we will able to see. This is the indexing. 0 1 2 3 4 is the indexing, and 1 2 3 4 5 uh, this is the output that we get. Here is the example of data frames. So data frames, as we discussed previously, it is just like an Excel sheet which has rows and columns. So here we can see that these are the column name, team, matches, win, losses and output. So this is basically the output that you will get if we will enter this particular data into it. First of all, we have created a dictionary. So data equals to, we can see here the curly braces, here the curly braces ends. Here are 5 columns inside it: team, matches, wins, losses, draws and points. These are the 5 columns, and inside that these are the values. So this is how our data will be reflected in data frames. So we will create a series and data frames in Jupyter Notebook. So let's begin. So now we will see Pandas library in Jupyter Notebooks. So first of all, in order to import Pandas library, we have to write the first command, import pandas as PD. So after writing that, we will first of all create a series. So in order to do that, first of all, I have written here df. Df is the variable name, equals to PD. So this is the method that we are using here. So PD dot series. Here S is capital, SERIES series. We have used a rounded bracket here. And if I will perform this function, then this is the output that we will get. Here these are the indexing 0 1 2 3 4, and here this is the values. The data type is integer. So this is the example of series. So this is how we can create series. The second thing that we will see an example of data frames in pandas. So this is the data frame. We can see here data equals to team, and here are the list of all the uh, countries which are there, and then matches. So this is basically the key and value pair that we have created here, matches, and these are the values which are there inside the list. So this is how we will able to see this structured data. After that, here we have created a series, pd.series. Here cricket underscore df. Inside that we have to write data frames here, pd dot data frame, and inside that we will write this particular data here. And if we will print this variable, then we will see this data here. So this is an example of data frames in Python. So now we will do exploratory data analysis using Jupyter Notebook. So let's begin. So first of all, we will import pandas library, import pandas as pd, and then we will import os just to see where our working directory is. So in order to do that, we will write os dot get cwd. So by this code we will able to see where our working directory is. So I can see that in the desktop I have created one folder, so that's where I have kept my data. So if my working directory is different, then my Python interpreter won't be able to get my particular data which I have stored. So now I will write this particular code, read csv, underscore csv, and my name of the data is data. I have kept the name data, which is there in my desktop in the anaconda folder. So if I will run this, and if I will write df, so it will print the entire data. So there are 300 rows and 9 columns. Now if I wanted to see the first 5 rows, so what I will do is I will simply write df.head. It will show me the first 5 rows. If I wanted to see the first 10 rows, then I can simply write 10 inside this brackets, and I will able to see the first 10 rows. If I wanted to see the last 5 rows, so I will simply write df.tail. I will able to see the last 5 rows. And now let's say if I wanted to see some statistical calculations which is there in the numerical values in this columns, so for that I will write df.describe. So here I am able to see units, cost per units, count, mean, standard deviation, minimum value, maximum value, and their percentile values. So this is the entire statistical package that we can see just by typing this one line of code. Now here we can see that even cost and amount, profit percentage, even these values are also numerical, but we can see here there is a dollar sign, and here there isn't any there isn't any, I believe here there is comma, so we have to separate the comma here. Here we can see there are rounded brackets for negative values, and along with that dollar is also there. Here minus sign and percentage sign is there. So because of that the Python interpreter is not been able to consider these values as numbers. So if we want to change this columns data type from object to integer, and we also have to replace this comma with unspaced value. So in order to do that, what we will do is we will write df, and here we will write the column name which is cost, df, and inside that I will again write cost dot str dot, we have to replace the value, replace, and what we have to replace with what, we have to replace comma that we can see here, 4348, we can see the comma here. So that's why it's not taking it as a numerical value. Dot s type. So this s type, it is type. So this will replace it into whatever I will keep inside this. So it will replace it with integer. Okay, we have successfully run this code. So now if I will run df.describe, then we will even able to see the cost column as well. So you can see cost column here. So we have successfully replaced this comma values with unspaced thing. So this comma has gone now, which was there here, and 2710, this entire thing was captured here. So that's why we are able to see the data of this cost as well. Now we can do, so now we will change the data type of amount column. So in order to do that, we will simply type df, and then inside that I will write amount equals to, again I will write df, inside that I will write amount. I will pass this first command as it is, that I have typed it in cost, but I will pass another method str. The method is same, but I will also enter the dollar value inside that, because we know that there is a dollar value, dollar character in the amount column. So I will simply write dollar here, and then I will write comma, and I will give spacebar as well, dot s type, and I will convert it into integer. So the object will be converted into integer. So this is how. And if now if I will write df.info, and if I will run this, then I can see that both the cost and amount, they both are converted into integer data type. We can see here cost and amount, they both are integers now. So now we also want to convert this profit as well. So how we can convert profit uh, into integer type? So for profit we have to pass some additional commands as well, because we can see here there is a bracket as well, and we have to denote this bracket values as a negative values. Dollar sign is there, so we have to pass the command that we have already passed in the amount column, to change the data type of the amount column. So we will pass that method as well. So, and even we can see here the comma is also there, so we will pass that as well. So let's see the process of changing the profit data type. So in order to change the data type of profit, so we have to pass two more uh, two more methods as well. So I will break down this 4 line of code for you. So df profit equals to df profit, and we will write replace, and this particular code will actually, it will make sure that the values which are there inside, which are denoted by rounded brackets, are negative values. So it will make sure that those values are negative. Then this particular line of code will replace or remove all those values which are non-numeric. So here we have passed this particular command. This means doesn't matches. This particular arrow denotes that. So if there is a value that doesn't matches from digit 0 and 9, it will replace it with unspaced value. So and this particular third command we have passed it because we want to convert this column values into numeric values. So we have used the dot to underscore numeric method as well here, and this particular line of code errors equals to codes. So it will basically convert the non-numeric values into none values, and if there are any none values, then we will drop them as well. So if we will run this particular code, and if we will write df dot info, and now if we will see the data type, then we can see that it's an integer data type. So this is how we have converted amount, units, cost per unit, and cost data type from object to numerical values. So now we will see how we can use the group by and sorting function in pandas to know more about our data. So let's see the data first. Df.head. So let's say if we want to group this particular data by geography so that we can see each and every country here, and let's say we want to take the mean values of profit. So whatever the mean value of profit would be aggregated, and we will able to see that in which country how much profit uh, is achieved. So in order to do that, we will first of all create a variable name group, and then we will use the df dot group by method. So this is a group by method, and we will write inside this, we will write geography, and I will also use the dot mean method because we need the average values of profit. So if I will run this particular code, and if I will write group here, then we will able to see that in which particular country. So now the geography is divided into the countries, and we can see that the mean values of profit is calculated here, cost is also averaged, and each and every other values, numerical values uh, are also here. So we can see that but still if we see this particular data, it is not sorted properly. So we will also sort this particular data. So in order to sort this data, we will use a particular command, sort values command. So in order to do that, we will write group dot sort underscore values. We will open these brackets. We will write by, and we want to sort the data by profits, and let's say we want it into the descending order. So ascending equals to false. And if I will run this code, then we can see that this profit, the country which has the maximum profit, will be reflected. So we can clearly see that in the country which is Canada, it has the highest number of profit when they have sold the chocolates. And we can see other countries as well, like UK is the second country, and the last country is US, which has gained the least amount of profit. So in this way we can do some exploratory analysis as well. We can group them, and on the by grouping them we can get these particular values, and we can figure it out that this particular country is gaining the maximum amount of profit and where we need to work, and which country is not gaining the profit. Then we need to figure out the reason why this particular country is not gaining enough profit. So this is how we can use group and sort function. So let's say now we want to see the null values or NA values in our data. So in order to do that, we will simply write df dot info. So by this method we can see that we don't have any non-null values, because you can clearly see here that 300 each and every column is reflecting 300 non-null values. So because I have downloaded this data from Kaggle, so there isn't any non-null values. Now let's say we want to drop this salesperson column and profit percentage column permanently from this particular data set. So in order to do that, what I will do is I will write df dot drop, and inside this column I will write salesperson, and I will also write profit percentage, and here I will write excess, because we want to remove the colons, so that's why we will write x is equals to 1, and we want to permanently delete it, so I will write in place equals to true. So this particular command will permanently delete or drop this particular both the columns. So let's run this code, and if now I will write df dot head, then we can clearly see that now salesperson column is gone, because we don't need individual person's data. So salesperson data is gone, and profit percentage data is also now gone. Now let's say if we want to add another column in this particular data set, so how we will able to add another column. So in order to do that, so here we can see that the amount is smaller than the cost, and here the profit is not in the negative one. So what we will do is we will create another column here, and I will name it as an updated profit, and we will perform a particular calculation in which we will subtract amount with cost. So in order to do that, we will simply write df, and inside that I will write updated profit equals to, again I will write df, and inside I will write amount, and I will simply subtract it. With df cost, and when I will run this particular code, we can see that another column is added. And if we will write df dot info, then we can see that the data type is also integer. And now if we want to permanently drop this particular profit column, what we will do is we will simply write df dot drop, and we will write profit inside it. Then I will write axis equals to 1, in place equals to true, and then if I will print this, then we can see that we got our data that we need. So this is how you can do some exploratory data analysis in Python using the pandas library.